Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. I'm your host, Adrian, and I'm an HVAC business owner here in South Texas. I do, a little bit of content creation and things of that nature online. On this podcast, we interview a lot of tradespeople from many different trades, business owners, people in manufacturing, people in software companies, new technicians, older technicians, people that start at 18, 16 even, and people that start in their 40s and 50s. So plenty of good conversations to be had with good people and a lot of good stories that maybe you would relate to. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcast, any other location, please leave us a review. We hope to earn those 5 stars, and I really have fun doing this podcast. I appreciate everybody that watches or listens and makes this what it is. And don't forget to check out HVAC Nights every Thursday night. Me and Jake host a live podcast weekly, and you can also check out merch from my store, the HVAC Nights, the nightwear, any of that at reliablehvacr.net. I also want to thank our sponsors that help keep this thing going. Jobber is our favorite CRM. I've tried different ones until finding Jobber that kind of controls the chaos that it is running a business and still being in the field and trying to get all the billing, quoting, submitting everything that you need to do outside of the field. And with Jobber, we do our maintenance contracts, we do our invoicing, our quoting, following up with customers to get reviews. That has helped our business a lot. And it offers website building and a whole bunch of AI features now baked in, and you can also do add-ons if you have any other software that you want, because they do work with a lot of marketing tools and things, AI receptionists and things like that. So check out Jobber for yourself, see if it helps your business. You get a 2-week free trial and a special discount if you use the link down below. Vito Pro Pack is also a supporter, and I can tell you right now, even though I see a bunch of competitors coming into the field, they are still hands down the best tool bags that you can buy. They are an investment, I understand that, but once you try one, like I did back during COVID, you won't want to use any other tool bag. And the thing is, they have so many products now that you can find the one that is perfect for you. So make sure to check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com. True Tech Tools has a lot of their stuff as well. Go check out their website to make sure that you can find the perfect bag for yourself. You won't regret it. Diversitech is probably in a lot of y'all's vans. I have almost something from all of those brands in my van ever since we've started. Packard is a big one for us as far as parts. They usually have something that we would need on a day-to-day basis. They are your one-stop shop for everything HVAC, and they have you covered for your everyday HVAC needs. And today's video is also brought to you by Resideo. Elite Pro is built for pros and powered by Pro IQ services. The new Honeywell Home Elite Pro thermostat is more than just a thermostat. It's a growth engine for your business. The sleek range of smart thermostats help you deliver next level comfort and convenience while standing out in every home. For more information, please visit resideo.com/proiq. All right, so before the episode officially starts, we had this conversation over at basically the small studio they set up over at the AHR Expo. So it was surprising to see out on the floor this huge Johnson Controls. I wish I had taken a picture, but it was this it was their booth, but they had a studio at the booth, and you could see Reliable Trades podcast flashing on the outside. So it was really cool experience getting to talk to Johnson Controls. And we went over some technical stuff, control stuff, and I give my experience per usual in the conversation dealing with Johnson Controls pen out in the field and kind of what I see, the HVAC and refrigeration, industry going, where it's been and all that kind of stuff. All in all, a great conversation. I didn't get to ask my usual, which is like, what is Johnson Controls? How did they start? Who is Warren Johnson? So I'm going to just explain that really quick before we jump into the video as a little intro to that episode. Now, if you're watching the video on YouTube, you'll see this up on screen, but the founder of Johnson Controls is Warren Johnson, born in 1847. He grew up in poverty on a homestead in western Wisconsin. He made his own clothes out of canvas, dyed them with ink for color. Living with scarcity did nothing to diminish his burning desire to learn, however. Self-taught, with little formal schooling, he had a gift for discovery. Even as a young boy, he kept a book which he sketched and described mechanical, chemical, and electrical inventions. Despite his lack of education, he went on to become a surveyor, country school teacher, superintendent of schools, and from 1876 to 1883, a professor at the State Normal School in Whitewater, Wisconsin. His colleagues there considered Johnson one of the most strikingly original teachers. He taught mathematics, science, drawing, and penmanship. His real passion remained with experimentation and invention. In his private laboratory, he conducted experiments in many areas, including electrochemistry, a glamour science of the day. Now, this is where it gets interesting because this is a story that I had heard not too long ago, actually, about him as a teacher coming up with a solution, which we now know as, temp controls, thermostats. Winters in Wisconsin can be harsh, and unsurprisingly, Professor Johnson's classroom was either always too cold or too hot. It was uncomfortable, and it meant constant interruptions by a janitor who came in to check temperatures and then adjusted the basement furnace dampers. Johnson set out to solve this problem. He toiled for 3 years to invent a device that could control and regulate room temperature. He received his first U.S. patent for the electric thermoscope. The mechanism, which would become known as the electric room thermostat, used a sealed bimetal element with one wire and an electrical current attached to the fixed end, and the other wire connected to a small pool of mercury in a cup-like reservoir. I just replaced one of these mercury thermostats at my parents' house. Changes in the air temperature moved the free end of the thermal element into and out of the mercury to close or open the electrical circuit, which in turn controlled his classroom damper in the basement. It was an invention that would launch an industry. Powerful, powerful stuff, right? The thermostat, the temp control, the heart of any HVAC or refrigeration system. Johnson then moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin's largest city, to develop his ideas, and 2 years later, his wife Cora and 2 sons joined the inventor, who had then formed a partnership with local businessman and financier William Plankington. In 1885, the same year that Mark Twain published Huckleberry Finn and Johannes Brahms wrote his final symphony, Professor Johnson and William Plankington launched the Johnson Electric Service Company. He was considered an intelligent, egotistical, artistic, and demanding leader. Johnson ran that company for 26 years. His passion for invention continued throughout his life, resulting in 50 patents. He died of a kidney failure in 1911 while on a trip promoting a custom automobile business that had become part of his namesake company. So, interesting backstory to Mr. Johnson of Johnson Controls, the founder, and Johnson Controls has been in business for a very long time now and is a staple in controls, automation, a lot of that kind of stuff, safeties. So kind of cool, just in case you didn't know about Johnson Controls, make sure to check them out, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube. I enjoyed this conversation that we had today, and I hope you guys do too.
All right, welcome. My name is Adrian Garcia. This is the Reliable Trades Podcast, and we are here at AHR in Las Vegas. And I've been walking around, and I ended up here at the Johnson Controls booth, and I have a couple of guests. Maybe we can go down the line. You want to introduce yourself, what you do, and kind of what you do with Johnson Controls?
You bet. You bet. Thank you for taking the time with us. I'm Bob Akagigi, Global Director, Product Management for Metasys, the operational backbone of thousands of buildings around the world.
Hi, my name is Sneeta Menon. I'm the Director of Product Management for our Field Devices portfolio. Our Field Devices portfolio mainly consists of valves, actuators, sensors, thermostats, and our commercial refrigeration product line, which is branded as a PEN product.
Awesome. Now I do a lot of light commercial, right?
Yes.
So restaurant work, walk-in boxes, RTUs, things like that. So I know Johnson Controls very well as far as like the pen
Yep.
stuff too. We deal with a lot of temp controls,
Yes.
pressure switches. I think you guys do a lot of different safeties and controls in that aspect. So I'm very familiar with it, and it's cool to kind of sit down and get a little insight on what you guys have been up to and what you guys got going on. So I want to get through some questions and kind of get some information out for the audience and stuff. When you think about the future of buildings, what excites you the most about controls?
Sitting here at AHR, you would probably expect me to say autonomous building.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. When I think of our roots, our DNA within the Metasys platform, it is the operator, the technician at the centerpiece. And so the Metasys platform for a long time is known for its spaces and equipment, the benign usability enhancements that brings to an operational workflow of a building. So think of it this way. We have spaces, we have equipment.
Mhm.
Typically, you would see a network tree that shows correlation of one device to another, completely separated from, again, spaces and equipment, which is what every technician, every operator can best relate to. Well, in the world of Metasys, the beauty is that it is already natively integrated into the platform. This means intelligent data.
Yes.
Intelligent data that translates into fault detection and triage, supporting an operator who could be maybe his week one joining his job to be effective,
Mhm.
to go through the troubled area step by step. Now to your question, I envision in a very near term, the guided, enhanced, augmented workflow to be taking a center stage, making the life of any operator so much easier.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a big help for sure. And what are your thoughts?
Simplification, improved workflow, reducing cost, being sustainable. Those are all key elements that's going to come in. From my perspective, field devices are going to become more smart, going to become more intelligent, be the data generators so that you can be more proactive. You're not reactive anymore. You can enable the products to be easily programmable so that you don't need a very expensive technician to come and set up stuff for you. What
Yep.
used to take maybe 4 hours now can be done in an hour. So that's kind of the thing that excites me about the future of, how can we make it easy? How can we get into reliable, precise kind of products?
Yeah, and I think that that's a big thing, right? Like I've always said that there used to be more of a difference between the technician and as far as like if you're doing repair work, service work, or control work, right? We always had the dedicated control guys, and it kind of bleeds over now into everything that we do, right? So, like I said, I'm familiar with a lot of your safeties, controls, everything, and that's the direction that I'm seeing as well. Like making it easier for the technician in general, like with data, with being preventing any future errors or issues that may come out instead of reacting to it out when it's already a little
Too late.
too late to deal with, and it's a much bigger problem. So I feel like in general, all across the board, because like I said, I do more light commercial myself, and I'm starting to see a lot of these kinds of controls. Even the residential guys, like that's being built into a lot of AC systems and houses and stuff like that. Automation. I feel like that is the future, but I feel like it's right now. Like you're dealing with it right now, and you need to stay up to date with technology. Implement all this new tech into everything basically at this point. What shifts in customer expectations are shaping how we think about controls and digital services? I think I kind of touched a little bit on that. You want to?
Sure. You see, if ChatGPT has done anything for us, is information at our fingertips. And
That's what I always say. Everything is at your fingertips right now. Like
Yeah.
it's up to you to take advantage of that.
totally. And that's usable information at your
Yeah.
fingertips. No longer the era of I'm going to go on Google and do a search and having to navigate. So one of the key emerging expectations is that I'm showing up to my work. I have done no pre-work. Tell me what is wrong and tell me how to take action effectively. So this kind of builds upon the story and the earlier question you asked. What is a major shift we are seeing?
Mhm.
It is automated navigation to go through complex effort and work while being new at the job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. You see, today, the Metasys platform gives you fault detection and triage. This is built in. The technician sees an issue on the problem in troubled areas. Metasys platform has a rule-based engine that tells you what has or could have potentially gone wrong. It walks you through one step after another. Now, what we are not including here is the O&M and SOP manuals, operating and maintenance, and standard operating procedures. So that technician, even though you're bringing him that far into his workflow, he still needs to go and grab a 150, 200-page manual to read through,
Yeah.
identify what he needs to do, break it down, and go take action. Well, we see a major shift in a ChatGPT triggered expectations. Don't tell me just what's wrong. Don't tell me how to fix it. Come up with a custom workflow unique to my predicament and walk me through it.
That's a good expectation to have either way. Cause like, I'm still learning all that, the AI tools and
Yeah.
it's basically baked into everything that we do now, but it's a good thing to take advantage of because like you said, in the past, it would be like a Google search, just to read more or a manual that is so much information that you're trying to take into. And now you have this stuff at your fingertips that you can kind of have help with, and it's baked into other systems that you guys have, and it's readily available for techs out there. What are the biggest strategic opportunities you see for Johnson Controls to expand the leadership?
What is unique about Johnson Control is its vast install base and its enormous footprint channel that is catering world-class services to its customers. Now, as you can imagine, I remember my business school professor articulating what service is and what service isn't. You cannot store experience and use it when you need.
Yeah.
A service is created and consumed at the same point. So for Johnson Controls, a key challenge for us to overcome is how to scale an unmatched experience consistently from one customer to another to support us scale.
Yeah.
And so underneath this is the driver. What supports this is effectively the evolution of artificial intelligence and guided workflows.
I think to add to what Babak said, it's the complementary of product offerings that we have today in our ecosystem that we can leverage to create some kind of stickiness. Why JCI? How can we separate us from our competitions? How can we provide some kind of IP and differentiated product experience with the controls and with the controllers together, the combination of sharing that data and creating some kind of element that is unique to us that generates a value proposition. So that, in my opinion, is another thing in addition to the install base that we have. The life cycle management element of it is For example, if I have an actuator that is sending data that is able to trend and tell, hey, by the way, look, I'm failing. You need to replace me.
Yes.
Instead of it's failed, it's broken.
done.
Now I'm sitting there idle and now my customers are unhappy because it's hot or it's cold.
Oh yeah.
So it's about that, right? How do you translate that people comfort and how do you translate what we have in our portfolio to generate that data that we can give to our controller, send that information ahead of time to our consumers so that they can use that data proactively, not reactively.
I love that. Yeah.
And then it makes people happy about that experience. So then people have that as a happy experience. It's positive. That associates with the brand recognition of what JCI stands for.
Yeah. And that's what matters.
Exactly.
Like you said, the comfort, right? I deal with product like on the commercial side, right? So they don't want us to be reactive at all. Now you deal with human comfort. That's one thing. You deal with product that's thousands, millions of dollars that they could lose. So a lot of the systems they have in place, they need to be more proactive about, like you said, if something fails, you would like to know ahead of time. You would like to know the data, the analytics, and something you can monitor or look at. And that way you have the data instead of like, oh, it's down, we're in trouble now.
Right. And to give an analogy to your life, right? You deal with a lot of refrigeration stuff.
Yes.
You'd want to know if a sensor is failing.
Yes.
Why? Because you don't want a lot of the meats and the fruits and the vegetables in those fridge refrigerators to go bad. Or even you don't want the quality to go down because then people who are going to consume are going to realize that, oh, something was off about that product.
Like ice cream is a big one, right? Because of the texture and everything.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect all the time. Or if it goes down for an hour, whatever it is, it's already gone.
Exactly.
They have to throw it out. So we deal with that constantly. Supermarket, I know is a big thing. I try to stay away from that because it's a little too much responsibility, but I'm sure with the proper structure in place, I mean, that all can be resolved and getting ahead of that problem. Also I do hospital work. So the kitchens, the different floors, there's so much refrigeration and air conditioning in that building alone. And it's a lot of complex systems. So you want to make sure that you have your proper, setup and structure with,
you don't want your medicines and vaccines to go bad.
I get so worried with that work, and it's a big responsibility. So you want to have, like you said, a good experience, good trust in a brand or a company.
Yep.
Let me see. How is Johnson Controls leveraging its installed base and global footprint to create a competitive advantage?
Well, you see, Johnson Controls takes pride on backwards compatibility.
That's amazing.
We have this N2 protocol that is over 2 decades old.
Okay.
And to this date, the supervisor hardware aggregator in the world of Metasys, the famous SNE, SNC engine, supports the same protocol.
Okay.
So this is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you have an aging install base, and your customer and your channel takes comfort on the fact that we will continue supporting it. On another hand, it has to do with the reality of the hardware life cycle.
Yes.
And we take pride on forward compatibility. This translates into when we design a new product, we account for this exact footprint, capabilities, and feature sets to make that migration easy, intuitive, and robust.
That's awesome. That's a big thing that you see in other spaces, right? Like Apple, for instance, right? They let you hold on to their previous devices for as long as you can because they have the compatibility with their software, all their other devices that come out. You still have the option of using an older device, and that builds trust in customers. And like you said, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's good because they can still use it and it's still doing really well. But that's something to, like you said, it's a competitive advantage, right? You can, but I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is on us as Johnson Controls to work hard educating our channel, educating our customer, bring state-of-the-art and innovative capabilities that helps push the install base to market.
I think the way we can leverage in addition to this is there's a diversity element to it, right?
Yeah.
We get to see a lot of products. In some cases, Europe and APAC may be leading some of the technology elements, regulations that may not be yet coming to the Americas. So we get to learn the technology trends, the global regulations that are going to come in front of us. That can help us to be prepared from a technology standpoint. We know what to get ready for the next 3 to 5 years. We know what to plan for from a future technology standpoint. So there is that element of being global,
Oh yeah.
having customers all over the world, having diverse customers, right? Diverse applications, because what may fit in the Americas may not be what we see in Europe. What we see in Northern Europe is not what we see in Southern Europe. What we see in China is not what we see in rest of Asia.
Yeah.
So having that different in applications, installations in various geographies gives us an opportunity to learn, to incorporate a lot of different use cases and scenarios, future-proof ourselves, fail-proof ourselves in some elements, because we may not have thought about that use case in the Americas because it may not be applicable to us.
Yeah, and you see it here too. Even in the United States or anything like that, like regions can be very different,
Yeah.
right? And what I compare it to is like I do AC work. Right?
Weather.
The weather is very different in the North States than it is in the South States.
Yeah.
East, West Coast, everything's different. But you need to be prepared because every now and then you have these extreme weather
Scenarios.
conditions and scenarios where you need to be prepared for it. So that's good. You guys are doing that on a global scale, so that's how to stay ahead. And I'm happy to hear that. I think we're out of time.
Yes.
It was a great conversation, and I appreciate you guys for sitting down, taking the time, talk about Johnson Controls here at the booth again at AHR Expo. I had a great time with you guys and appreciate it.
Likewise.
having
Thank you.
us.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, very informative. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.